How many times have you heard this? Watch time is the most important stat for your YouTube channel, by far. If you want to grow your views, you have to grow your watch time. Well, I'm sorry, but you've been lied to. That statement is entirely untrue, and I go crazy whenever I hear it. I've gone crazy since the beginning. That statement has been around for probably 6 or 7 years, and it was literally never true. The only people that it really applied to were the big vloggers who were already getting millions of views. It 100% does not matter for tiny channels. For bigger channels, sure, make longer videos. But Trevor, don't my videos have to be better? Well, yes, they already did. Nothing has changed. Today, we're going to be talking about what makes good retention versus bad retention, and why watch time doesn't matter at all. If you want more watch time, you make longer videos, but here's the irony. If I can get 5 people to watch a 2-minute video versus 1 person to watch a 10-minute video, that's the same amount of watch time. And more people are likely to watch a shorter video. So it really doesn't matter what the length of your video is. There is no secret here. Anybody who's telling you that watch time is important and you should make longer videos is wrong. The only reason that you would want to make a long video is so that you can get a mid-roll ad. And what is a mid-roll ad? It's so you can get some advertising to play in the middle of your video. Videos that are longer than 8 minutes, they get mid-roll. Having a mid-roll ad massively increases your monetization, and you can make more money doing that. So it is important for monetization, if you want to try and make more money, to hit that 8-minute mark and get over that 8-minute mark. Just so you know, 2 years ago it was 10 minutes. Before that, I think it was like 14 minutes. So know that YouTube does change the amount of time. Currently it's 8. Please go Google it and make sure that that is still the mid-roll cutoff, because it does change frequently. But into watch time. We're opening a screen share. We're going to look at my data today. We're going to dive right in and look at my data. And I am actually going to review myself with y'all live and see what makes good watch time or retention versus bad watch time or retention. So, first off, this video is new. I just published this video yesterday. You'll notice there's no retention data. That's because it takes a few days to get your retention data. So let's try and find an older video. So you can see, YouTube is giving me a typical retention graph here, which is typical for my videos, not typical for all of YouTube. But you can see there's big drop-off, which is normal. This is very normal to see big drop-off like this. Your goal should be to hold as many of these people as possible. There's always going to be a big drop-off in your retention. Your goal should be to hold as many of these people for as long as humanly possible. So I really held them. You can see this big drop-off. Aha! 44% is where I was able to hold and stop the drop. So let's actually go and look at that, play that back, and just see what we can see.
Content. So what are the options?
Where did I lose people is the question I'm asking myself. Where did I lose people?
To buy views on YouTube. The right way is promoting your content.
So where and when did I lose people? Let's see.
Or at least a basic guide on how to do that. I've already posted a video on this. You can go and promote.
So this is very normal. I held here for too long. We didn't have a cutaway, we didn't have B-roll, we didn't have other footage to look at. I just held there for too long. Now let's see, there's a spike. So for those wondering, whenever there's a spike in your retention, it means people paused and they went back, or they fast forwarded to that location. So now we're going to click on this part and just see what made people come back.
What are you left with? Guerrilla marketing.
Oh, people liked the gorilla. That makes sense. There was like a little gorilla that popped up on screen. I'll play it again just so you can see it.
We're going to talk a little bit about gorillas.
The gorilla made people laugh, I think.
Guerrilla marketing.
Yeah. So people went back and they liked the gorilla. Okay, good. But do you see how, like, these aren't revolutionary takeaways so far? Because they're not supposed to be. Like, all right, this one has 274 views. It's going to have some interesting retention. Look, way below where it should be, right? Which is below typical. So I lost a lot of people on this one, but it's a dynamic graph. So where did it start to level off? Let's see.
Today, I'm going to do my absolute best to convince you not.
So what am I looking for? How am I losing people?
Why is that? Well, because podcasts are alive. Virtually every major podcasting anyone was already...
So I could have made this intro a lot more engaging by adding in B-roll, by adding in some sort of cutaway. I did do a zoom jump cut, the scripting, I maybe could have changed the scripting to be more explosive and more engaging. Let's keep playing it.
Famous or already became successful on another platform, or did something to become successful that had nothing to do with their podcast. And we're going to go into all that and more today.
Yeah, so this is a bad retention curve, by the way. Why? Because 30 seconds in, I only have 20% of my audience. You generally want to be 30% or above, like 30 to 50%. That's good retention. So this video had really, like, bad retention. 5% of your audience, 8% of your audience at the halfway mark, that's no good. Let's see. By the way, if you run Google Ads, and I did run some Google Ads on that video for the sake of transparency, I just want to tell you guys this. I have been experimenting with buying Google Ads. I literally have a video on it that you can go watch. I'm not hiding this information from anybody. But it is important to know your retention's probably going to look bad on a video where you bought views. Why? Because those viewers, like, you're advertising with them, and some of them don't want to watch an ad. So abandonment will be higher on videos that you may have run Google Ads on. Quick pro tip. Ooh, this had really good retention. Let's look at this.
Today we're going to be reviewing...
Oh, I hate my shitty British accent.
Tom Scott. He's a major YouTuber with nearly 6...
Now, see, that was a good intro. Why was that a good intro? Because I had B-roll. There were cut-ins and cutouts. I delivered on Tom Scott, who's in the thumbnail. You can see him in the thumbnail in the top left. The title's about Tom Scott. I immediately mentioned Tom Scott, and we have a swipe in with B-roll. That all helps to lower the drop-off. So let's keep playing.
6 million subscribers. I don't actually talk about that.
And then, this is really important. So this is a normal retention curve, and more than that, it's a good retention curve. That means this video is really engaging. How do I know that? Well, because this drop-off is normal. You're always going to see this drop-off, but look where it levels off. It levels off at 63%. So I change my accent, and I say this is my real accent. That woke people up, and it got their attention. And I also held people for as long as possible by adding in B-roll and creating some engaging shots as well right at the beginning. The scripting for this video was also really good, right? If you go back and watch this Tom Scott video, the intro is really strong, and this is what good retention looks like. I managed to hold people really well. 63% is where we start to level off. And then I hold them for a while. There's a spike here. Let's see why there's a spike there.
If you're going to have text in your thumbnail, make sure your title complements the text. So don't be redundant. Say something in addition to, not the exact same thing copy-pasted over again. So what does that mean? Things are changing at the...
Wow, that's really interesting. So people liked that advice. They liked what I had to say about that. That's really cool. So again, 17% halfway through is on the lower side. Again, you want to be, 30%'s the dream. If you can get, 30% of your audience to the halfway point, you can see retention is an area where I'm weak because a lot of the content I'm giving is advice-based content, and I don't do a lot of cutaways. We really need to, I need to work with my editor to improve our edits so that these videos can be more engaging, because we are getting really early drop-off. Like 10% of your audience halfway through, that's just not great. But holding on to 30% of your audience for the first, minute, that's impressive, right? This is good retention. So let's see where we lost people on the Sophia Nygaard video.
She doesn't need any advice from me.
Again, these drop-offs are very normal.
Today we're going to be doing a review of her channel and just talking about what works and what works
So my scripting could have been way better on this. 19 seconds and I get to the point, that sucks. You got to get to the point right away, very quickly. This stuff is challenging, gang. This is stuff, that I still struggle with, just so you know.
Well, she's literally, to me, a pristine example of how to do YouTube vlog content correctly. And what I love about her content is...
So this is where we started engaging people.
Some of the other channels
I start to review her. Got it. So where do we get the spike?
Thumbnails and titles, because I believe that click-through rate is the secret to YouTube. What is click-through rate? It's title, thumbnail, topic.
People went back for that advice because they wanted that advice. Okay.
Now, a lot of people, what they will do is they will templatize their thumbnails. They'll copy-paste, copy-paste, copy-paste. Sophia does a little bit of that.
Okay, so again, they liked that advice. So let's see where we lost people, because we really lost people here. The video is basically over here.
Stayed at every hotel.
By the way, holding on to 30% of my audience to the 3-minute mark in a 20-minute video is really good. So don't beat yourself up if, you're not making it to that halfway mark, like I mentioned. It's okay if you made it 2-3 minutes. It still means you're doing a good job, right? It means, wow, I created a strong 3 minutes that held 30% of an audience. That's not easy to do, gang. It's really hard. So don't beat yourself up too much if you're like not making it to the halfway mark. This is still good retention. I'm just wondering how I can make it better.
On the Vegas Strip.
Okay, let's go watch this. Where do I lose people?
On every bit of text you use, because we don't...
I'm not looking at the camera. This is very common. And why am I not looking at the camera? Well, because I'm doing an active screen share and I can't see myself looking at the camera. Like, I'm pretending to look at you right now, like you, the viewer, right now. But I actually don't know because I'm doing a screen share. So something that I can do when I actually have money is probably get a second monitor set up to see what I'm looking at versus the screen share, or doing some kind of mirrored setup. This is a good takeaway for me. But you can see I'm not looking at the camera. That always loses people. Also, dropping the screen share. People really seem to be enjoying the screen share. Maybe they just didn't want to see my face. They're like, Trevor, why'd you cut away from the screen share? I was looking at the screen. Let's see.
I want text to overload the thumbnail. And I will say...
Yeah, see, it levels out. So people liked seeing Sophia. They're there to see Sophia. They're not there to see me. And me talking, it was just too long. And we could have shortened that and tightened that up to be more engaging. Are you guys starting to see how retention works? Now, how does this all relate to watch time? Because the fact of the matter is, this is just called making a better video, right? Where I'm losing people, where I'm not losing people. And fun fact, even if you make a bad video, like one could argue because I only held about 10% of my audience halfway through, that this is a bad video, right? And you can make that argument, 100%. Because 10% of your audience halfway through, that's not great. So let's say, for all intents and purposes, that this was a bad video. I still have 5% of my audience. I still have 5% of my viewership all the way to the end, which means I'm getting free watch time. Did this video get a lot of views? No. Let's go look at a video that did get a lot of views. Let's go look at Do Not Start a Podcast. You can see this one got way more impressions, right? This video got served a lot of impressions. And let's look at this watch time. It's the same. Look, 5% halfway through. Now, here's what's interesting. Because this video got more views, it has more watch time, but the percentage of people who hung on and stayed and watched the whole video was the same. So if I had made a 16-minute video, I would have had like 10 times as much watch time just because I got more views. Do you understand what I'm saying? Essentially what I'm saying here, I'll explain it to you, is watch time doesn't matter because people are going to fall off no matter what. You know, it's like, yeah, it's great that I know about my edit and I can go make my edits better in the future, but I can't change the edit of an existing video because I've already posted it. So this is sort of after the fact, fun to know information, but I can't change any of it. What can I change? I can change my title and my thumbnail. I can't change my topic. I can't change my video. I already posted the video. So it's not, this is all nice to know information and that these are good takeaways. But it's important to understand, if I know that no matter what, if I just make longer video, I'm going to hold a certain percentage of people, be it 3%, 4%, 5%, 10%, 20%, right? Whatever the goal is. Just me knowing that I'm going to always have those people means I should make longer videos, right? Wrong. Because if you don't have a good title, a good thumbnail, a good topic, and a good intro, your click-through rate's going to suck. And if your click-through rate sucks, ooh, this click-through rate's not great. It was really strong for like a week, and then it fell off. I'll have to go back and A/B test this. But essentially, if your click-through rate is weak, nobody's going to click on your content, which means nobody's going to watch it, which means everything we just talked about doesn't matter at all. And so it's so funny when I go to brands, because brands are like, watch time is everything, and I should just go make better content and longer content. That is totally wrong. You want to focus on your titles, your thumbnails, your topics, and your intros. You want to get your click-through rate as high as it can possibly be. Let's look at the click-through rate on this video. Yeah, you can see 10%. By the way, this is only 2 hours of data, so this doesn't bother me that much. Never look at your live data. Always look at your closed data. This is a thing I talk about in other videos, but you can see 10%. Wow, this was a great click-through rate. People really liked this video. By the way, I'm sure this click-through rate's going to go down over time. That's something that I'll talk about in another video. But this matters way more because guess what? Now because I got that 9.7% click-through rate that got me 35 views, that's already way better than the 3% that we saw in that other video, right? So I know that this retention and this watch time is going to be good, not because, you know, my video was good, but because I got a lot of people to click. Is this making sense to y'all now? That's the secret. The secret is not watch time. Anybody who tells you to make better videos or focus on watch time is just totally wrong. Because the fact of the matter is, even if you hold 5% of the people that you get to click on your content like I do on my videos, I'm guaranteed that watch time. And I can't do anything to fix it either. Let's say my video's really terrible and I just lose everybody and they never make it to the end. I can't fix that because I've already uploaded the video. What can I fix? I can fix how many people are going and clicking on the video. That I can fix. That I can plan for. So I hope this was interesting, but essentially these are my very cynical views on watch time and on content quality, which is, yes, they matter, but they don't matter nearly as much as just going and getting people to click, because then you raise your barrier of entry. If you can get your barrier of entry raised, like the number of people who actually go in and click on it, you've already won. And then if you can hold people for 30 seconds, not that long. Ooh, wow, this one had really good retention. By the way, this is another thing to keep in mind. Views that have terrible click-through rates, videos that have terrible click-through rates, tend to have really good retention because that's your tight-knit fan base. That's one more note that I have for you. So if you have a tight-knit group of followers that are watching every single video like I do, right? This video was, it looks like, didn't actually do that great. It only has a 2.2% click-through rate. But I have a tight-knit group of like 20 people watching all my content, meaning this retention graph that I'm seeing, which you can change the timeline on, by the way. This retention graph I'm seeing is a summary of like all of my engaged viewers, all of you guys who are coming in and supporting me, meaning my retention chart looks amazing. But the funny thing is, it's only a 2.2% click-through rate, and I only got 30 views. Is this starting to make sense now? So click-through rate's the most important thing. That's how people click and find your content. Impressions has a lot to do with what the algorithm thinks of your content. So you can see the algorithm really liked this video. This is more than average for me in terms of my impressions. So these things actually are what got me views. And then I delivered on the content, right? Then you have good content. Then you look at your retention in that order. And I can't control this. There's like, I'll watch this with you all right now, but there's nothing I can change here.
About quantity versus quality. It's the eternal debate. Do I create videos that are extremely high quality but very few in number?
So how did I hold on to people here?
A lot of content where I maybe sacrifice my quality a little bit,
good.
just so that I can get volume up. Now,
okay, people liked the graphics. People liked the graphics.
Right? You know the correct answer? It's both. It's always
people didn't like that.
It's never not
People hated that answer. That's awesome. That's so awesome.
You need quality and you need quantity. You just do. But that's not realistic, right? We all have our own limitations and abilities.
See, and now it's just me talking. So they got all the fun graphics, they got all the fun stuff, and now it's just me talking, and we stayed on me for way too long, and now it's pulling away. So this is important to know, like, if you're like me and you're a vlogger or you're an advice giver, you want to shake things up as much as possible. You want to constantly have something moving on screen. You need B-roll. Like, do I need to worry about all that shit? Yeah, probably, and I could be doing some of this stuff better. But I'm much more focused on reach and more on watch time. And by the way, ooh, this video's doing better. You can see some videos out the gate, they'll do really poorly, and then as time goes on over the weeks and months, they'll do better and better. So just know that YouTube, your video doesn't live and die week 1. It lives and dies week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. I never really go beyond a month and a half, to be honest. I watch videos for about a month and a half, and then I move on because there's only so many hours in a day that you can focus on stuff. But I hope this was interesting. I hope you learned something, and most importantly of all, I hope you learned that your watch time really doesn't matter. It's better to focus on click-through rates. It's better to focus on getting people into your video, getting them to click on your video, having a really strong intro, right? Because you increase that barrier of entry, and then see where your edits can get better. I think that's one of the big takeaways from this video. All right, gang, I'm going to sign off. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Thanks, gang. Bye.